If you are just hopping on, please type in the chat where you're from and let us know. So officially, welcome. We're so glad that you could join us for designing your own Vacation Bible School using materials from rotation.org. My name is Beth Tobin, and I'm one of the volunteer board members for rotation.org, and Debbie Fisher and I are really excited to present to you today. And let's begin with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, bless our time together today. Thank you for all of these leaders. Empower them in their ministry with children. Help us to celebrate the creativity you have gifted us, and help us to use our gifts to help others know your love. Amen. I'm going to share my screen with you. So all of these ideas that we're going to be presenting today, next slide, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, anyway, all the ideas that we're going to be presenting today are adaptable to any type of Vacation Bible School or event that you would do. So whether it's online, hybrid, a couple days a week, a summer series, a weekday, a morning, an extended day, all of these ideas are adaptable to that. And then here's a little bit about us. I have been the Vacation Bible School director since 1993. I have been designing our own Vacation Bible School since 2012. And I am a mom of 3 grown, awesome children and a grandma. And my home church is Gloria Dei Lutheran Church in Olympia, Washington. I'm a rostered deacon in the ELCA, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And I'm also the new chair of the Coffee Chat ministry team with rotation.org. And I'm excited to be here. Debbie.
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Debbie Fisher. I'm the director of children's ministry at St. Albans Episcopal Church in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. I'm a staff member. I started working there in 2001 to 2015, took a little bit of a break when we became empty nesters, and then I rejoined the staff in 2018. We've offered Vacation Bible Schools since 2011. And we wrote our own in 2019, and that's what I'll be sharing with you today. Like Beth, my husband and I are the proud parents of 3 awesome grown children, and also I'm a grandmother. So I'm delighted to be here today.
Debbie and I are finding we have a lot in common. Oh, okay, here's the slide. Yay! Anyway, adaptable to everything, every event that you can do, because between Debbie and I, we've done it, so we know it can be done. So why do Vacation Bible School in the first place? And this is a great place to start because it gets to your why, and it's really important to know your why, and in my opinion, to empower your volunteers by making sure they know your why. Maybe it's that VBS is a front porch to your ministry site. Do you collect data on families? Like, do they have a home church? So you know who to reach out to if they are unchurched. Maybe it's providing a summer learning experience for your own community, for your Sunday school kids. Maybe it's mission oriented and helping neighborhood families with summer childcare and meals. Maybe your reason for doing Vacation Bible School is to inspire teens and college age kids to become servant leaders. Maybe you use Vacation Bible School to launch a new workshop, like the story table workshop. Maybe you use Vacation Bible School to introduce the workshop rotation model of Sunday school to people. Maybe you're in it for the long game. Like I'm finding out that there are now kids that grew up through Vacation Bible School who are now helping to lead it. And that's very exciting. Maybe you do VBS because that's what you've always done. But whatever it is, help your volunteers to know that and make it visible. Put it in one of your goals and objectives for the year so that people know why they're doing it. If people know why they're doing this ministry, they are empowered for the ministry. Why design your own? So for me, and Debbie will speak to hers, to me, it's relevant. The scripture can be tailored to your community and what your community is going through at the time. And it's really kind of cool to see how the Holy Spirit guides all of that. I have found that when I purchase Vacation Bible School curriculum, I'm having to modify it and make sure the theology matches our ministry site and do a whole bunch of change up things. So it was like, I'm having to spend all this time modifying. Why don't I just start from the beginning? Also, simplifying is huge in this world that is so crazy busy. We simplify VBS by just doing one story for the whole week, not multiple stories. And we make that work like the rotation model so that if you think of each Sunday in the rotation model, children would rotate to a different workshop around that story each Sunday. We take the days of the week as a Sunday, and each day they rotate to a different workshop. And I'll be talking more about that. There's quite the buzz, and it's people come in and they're like, oh, it's so calm, but there's like so much energy. And so it's cool. We're very intentional about what we do. So projects are not cheesy projects. It's fun and creative. It becomes organically intergenerational. We oftentimes have as many volunteers as we do kids. And a couple of years, we've had more volunteers than kids. It's been amazing. People don't want to miss it. We're able to redirect money that we would have spent on the little like toys that come that they encourage you to purchase with a purchase curriculum. We direct those dollars to supplies that support ministry year round. And like an example that I'm hoping to be able to purchase this year is a portable labyrinth that we can use year round. This way of doing Vacation Bible School really supports existing ministries, and it lets you lift up and highlight ministries in your own setting. And that in turn brings you a whole bunch of volunteers, because if you want to get the quilters involved and teach kids how to quilt, all those quilters are going to show up. Same with woodworkers. And that's pretty cool. You can customize it. So we customize skits to what's going on in our building. When people have ownership, they have pride. And our program is not what everybody else is doing in town. It is unique to us, and we do a morning program. And this last one is just so great because this is easily scalable. The planning that you do for a small number of kids is the same planning you do for a large number of kids. And so at the last minute, if you have 20 kids show up on the day of that you weren't expecting, you can scale it up or scale it down. Debbie.
Okay, so really our reasons for creating our own are very similar to Beth's. I would just add a couple of things. We started offering Vacation Bible School in 2011, and for several years we had used various purchased curricula, and they were fine. But like Beth, we realized we had to, what we call it, St. Albanize it so much, and create our own crafts, and substitute our own music, that after 2018 we said, well, let's just give it a shot, let's just give it a try. I was blessed with a very creative assistant director who really was the brains behind everything. We found we were able to tailor, we always include a service project. We were able to tailor that to a local organization that we had a relationship with and that we continue to support. We figured that we had to adapt and modify so many things. Let's just give it a go. So we came up with Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water, and we tried to explore how those elements support us in experiencing the joy, excitement, and mystery of God's creation. We made that decision, and we really started planning right about now. Our summer camp is always in the middle of July, and we started basically in mid to late February. So you're right, if you're beginning to think about summer Vacation Bible School now, you're not behind the curveball. So that's why we decided to do it.
Cool. So how to choose a theme or a Bible story. And these are some of the themes that both of us have done, or a combination of the two of us have done. And just looking at this screen, there's two that are super fun to highlight. The beat. I don't know if Neil is the one who created this graphic for this, but when I saw that come out on rotation.org, I was like, oh my gosh, we totally have to do a Vacation Bible School using the Beatitudes with the beat. So that was one. And then in 2020, we had to do 2020 vision. It was just super fun to do that. But I like to have the following year's Bible story figured out before the current year's Vacation Bible School ends. So I come into VBS. So like this year, I'll come into VBS 2023 with a few ideas in the back of my head. And then as the week goes on, I get a sense for where our kids are at. Where is our community at? Which one is resonating with where we're at in our faith development, in our growth, in our learning, and what's going on in the world, so that by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. And then I start talking to the volunteers there about it, and people start going, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. And it gets a little buzz going for the next year. We have a 4-year rotation calendar. I also look at that and see, so we do 8 stories a year for Sunday school. So I look and see how what we do in Vacation Bible School can help support what we're learning in Sunday school, or else fill in holes that we're not doing. And looking at the needs of our community, I really want to lift that up. So in 2021, we needed to hear about Jesus calming this crazy storm that was COVID, or is COVID, and that everybody was experiencing. So that ended up being just spot on and powerful for our community. In 2022, kids were feeling like they were in a pressure cooker, like, do we wear a mask or not wear a mask, or people giving them a hard time for whatever decision they were making. And so much social justice things going on that how do we stand up for what is right, and needing to know that God's got our back. So we did the fiery furnace, and it ended up being right on. And so this year, what I've been discovering with our community, and I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but kids have so many holes in their learning about Jesus and who Jesus is. I had a little first grader ask me not long ago, so what's the big deal about God anyway? Why are we learning about God? And kids are asking me, like, who's Jesus? Or Jesus did this? Or what's this? So I was like, oh my goodness, we need to do like a mystery theme and a seek and find, like, who is Jesus? And so then, just to know how my thought process goes, I threw that out to some people last VBS, and it's been percolating ever since. And then I had to sneak a picture of my little granddaughter in. She watches this show called Mira, and Mira is a detective. And so she goes around, we're on the case, we're on the case, we're on the case. So that we're going to get little magnifying glasses for all the kids, and we'll have a we're on the case situation happening. And we have people that like to do geocaching, so that will be one of the things we do. And then there's the Pink Panther, of course. So if you're needing kids to pay attention to you, you could go and then rotation.org has this great lesson called Mary ponders and magnifies excuse me, the Messiah, that helps kids. One of the art projects is they write teeny, teeny, tiny, and they use a magnifying glass to make it big. And so that's in the mix too. So there's lots of inspiration-y things coming for that. The other thing that maybe you've noticed this too is the need for focusing on mental health. There's a crisis going on in our kids. I was just working with a kindergartner this week who is stressed out about so many different things and concerned about different things. And it goes all the way, up through our college kids, probably as adults too. So we have intentionally started incorporating a mental health component into our Vacation Bible School. And we started that the year we started in 2021 with Jesus Calms the Storm. And if volunteers are of shortage, you can reach out to people who are far away, because we have this great technology. And I was talking to my daughter in Minnesota, and she was like, yeah, Mom, I could do a yoga video for you. So she recorded a video, sent it to us in Washington State from Minnesota, and we tie in the story of whatever one we're doing. And so it was this one, the kids are doing Jesus Calms the Storm. And then we had these calm down bottles that they made. And these are some of the stories that we shared with them and talked through with them and had a prayer focus. And this last year, she created one about the fiery furnace. So the motions go through, the yoga poses go through telling the story. It was really cool. And she's like, hey, do you need one this year? I'm like, yeah, totally. So mental health is great to incorporate as you're able. So how do you go about cultivating and designing content? The main place where we get resources from is rotation.org, and I'm going to be doing a deep dive and show you how to do that in a minute. The hidden treasures that Robin and Kathy come up with are amazing. I pay attention to those all throughout the year. They had one recently, or not long, maybe it was like last fall, on Jesus in the temple. And I was like, whoop, radar going up. Oh yeah, Jesus was a kid. Need to pay attention to that, so kids know that Jesus was also a kid. Pinterest is another great place where I'll find like snack ideas and sometimes craft ideas. Godly Play, we look at their storytelling for the storytelling workshop that we do. Kids have storytelling twice a week in our rotation. in our Vacation Bible School. Flame Creative Children's Ministry is another site I go to, especially for prayer station ideas. And I also go to Worshiping with Children Blogspot, which is a fantastic site for how to incorporate children into worship. And Carolyn at that site has some great ideas too. All right. So bringing the story or theme to life. It starts with a lot of research once you have your theme. And then I always go through and I spend time reading the lessons and the comments. So all the comments and lessons that you guys post are, just know they're so appreciative. I develop the goals and objectives working with a team of people. We come up with what our memory verse is going to be. Oftentimes we'll transfer what was done in a cooking lesson into the snacks. We incorporate drama, storytelling, and games into one of 4 special workshops that we do. And the art lesson either gets incorporated into crafts or in its own special workshop. One of our craft for the week is always the kids creating and designing their own VBS t-shirt. And so they love wearing it. And I have a slide that talks more about that later. Then we look at what ministries in our congregation tie in with that theme or Bible story that we would want to raise up and highlight. Like Debbie, we do a service project every single year. Kids love doing service projects and they don't always get a chance to do them. And this is a great way to help teach them about that. We have a special offering every year. So we think about what could our special offering go to that ties in with the theme. We come up with our music playlist, pulling from past VBSs, from children's books, from our contemporary service, from our traditional service. We write skits that pertain to our community, and we plan worship. Our VBS is always incorporated into worship after the week. Okay, so how do you use the rotation.org site to get all this great content? This little search, oh my gosh, that ties in with our theme for next year. I love it. The little magnifying glass is your friend, because this site is such a wealth of information. It is your friend. So you click on that, and then that will bring up this search box, and you type in what you're looking for. If you are doing the Good Samaritan, that's an easy one because you'll get the Good Samaritan. If you're doing Jonah, yeah, that's another easy one. You'll get all the Jonah stuff. Our story this year is not clear cut because it's like, who is Jesus? How do you encapsulate that? So I typed in, okay, Jesus in the temple. And then here's what came up. And what I love about this is that we not only have the writing team lessons for our supporting members, but we have other lessons that people over the year have said, hey, we did this. And so they popped it up on the site. And just know we're always adding content. So if you have lessons that you would like to share, people appreciate that. And it's what makes our community so, so special. So I checked out this page and was getting some ideas from this. And then I went and did another search and I typed Jesus as a child. And this came up with a couple of, I just don't even try reading the screen, but I want to show you what you'll see when you type this. And then you just scroll down. What caught my eye was what to say to a child who asks about dinosaurs. And I'm like, maybe that's a future theme for VBS. So now that's in my brain for 2024. So I'm just trying to help you know how my brain thinks, which might be a scary thing. Anyway, I also caught the Jesus and Nicodemus lesson, and I was like, Oh, yeah, because Nicodemus was asking, who is Jesus? And then that ties in with John 3:16. So I went there and did a little exploring. And here's this cool art project that came up with the God's Eye. And that's such a great art project for kids. And the different colors, the kids pick the different colors to help tell the story. And so there's a lot of great ideas for me, at least, to explore there. And then another thing that came up was I was like, what is that? And Luann and Jan have this whole section in here about how to do blacklight storytelling. And I'm like, oh my goodness, kids would think that is so cool. And who else in your town does that? Probably no one. And there's a great whole everything you need to know on how to do that. So if you're like looking for something cool, that is cool. And then I typed in Jesus blesses the children. One of the things that as you're navigating our site, you can always look up here at the top. It will tell you where you're at and how to back out of it so you can not get lost on the site. So that's another great thing to pay attention to. And I love that it's not just board members who are posting things. It's people from all over. Again, I can't say that enough because we are a community together. If you are interested in a particular topic, if you click on the little bell at the top of your screen when you're searching, you will get a notification in your email box anytime anybody posts something new. And Lisa Martin, it'll tell you who posted. So Lisa Martin posted some great ideas for Ask, Seek, Knock, because we're like seek and find. And then Stacy posted some great ideas. And then Amy posted a whole music video. So if music is one of the things that you're looking for, there are ideas that you can find on the site for music too. Okay, quick breath for any questions that come up. There we have a lot more to go through, but is there any questions before we keep going? Nope, keep going. Okay, all right. The timeline, Debbie talked about this a little bit, but we make sure in our Christmas bulletins that VBS is advertised for the year. In January, February, we're building core team, doing more intentional planning. Our families are already planning out their summers right now, so it's important for them to have those dates. Registration goes out no later than Easter, and we offer multiple ways for people to register. And we keep recruiting, and our supply board goes up right after Easter. We do charge a registration fee of $25 for the week. We sponsorship people, so if anybody can't pay, we pay for them, or we don't charge them. And then we have instituted a non-refundable fee cutoff date, because if you're ordering supplies, you've already ordered them. And then we advertise on a banner, our website, church sign, entrances, word of mouth, social media. And this year I want to try making little Canva square invitation things that people can take and hand out to people. The components of our VBS, we go 8:50 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. We offer VBS for 3-year-olds who are 3 by January 31st and potty trained through rising 6th graders. We have an opening and closing time. We do one story for the week. We incorporate prayer stations, especially during our snack time and for early arrivers and kids who stay late. We offer a Wednesday night barbecue, fellowship time, and Sunday morning worship followed by a fellowship time. Friday is our fun day, so we change up the schedule that day. We have a press pool, and that's our 5th and 6th graders. They don't do VBS, they cover VBS. I'll talk more about that later. Captain Bible helps us with our memory verse for the week, And we offer childcare for our staff, and we have a staff lounge and have shepherd time through the week. Don't get scared, I think, for this next slide. Okay, don't freak out. Okay. This is our master schedule for 2019, and there was 127 kids and 113 volunteers. Our VBS was growing because of word of mouth, basically. And it was because it's different than others. And it happens at the same week as 2 other large churches offer VBS. And our kids we were outgrowing our building and had to add and double classes. So our fish classes that are on the top over here, we decided to call them different fishes because it allowed us to maneuver kids into different classes, especially the little kids. So these are our early 3s, late 3s, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds and kindergarten kids. And we could kind of flesh out where they go by birth date, and we collect birth date information. And then our core time during the day is our core things are music, storytelling, crafts, snack, and recess. And then we have 4 specials that we do. This year we were doing the story of Lydia. So we did quilt tying with purple fabric. Our theme with Lydia was kids in action, because Lydia used her gifts and put them into action. So we had each age group was going a different place on a field trip, doing some kind of act of kindness. And our special offering this year went to the ELCA malaria campaign to purchase bed nets, mosquito bed nets. So we did one of our workshops was education around that. And then Lydia was down by the river praying. That's where she would met with people. So we had a prayer workshop that was down by the river. This was last year's schedule. We had 54 kids, so almost 100 less kids, and we were able to just shrink things down, but we had fewer volunteers, and that was a stress for us last year, as some adults weren't quite sure about being around kids with COVID issues and everything. So one of the things that we did, and I wanted to show you this, is we streamlined and had all of the shrinky dink. This was the fiery furnace. So we had the shrinky dinks be on Monday only. We had the VeggieTales movie Stand Up. On Tuesday, keeping cool was our prayer focus. How do you keep cool? Mental health focus. And then we had our service project Faith in Action be on Thursday, so that the person who was leading on Monday could also lead on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday if need be. So that's just another way of structuring that. And we also post our schedules by grade level for the shepherds and by activity for the activity leaders, so they don't have to look at that gnarly master schedule thing. Yeah. Debbie.
Okay, well, Beth, thank you. We're on a little bit of a smaller scale at St. Albans Episcopal Church in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. So our VBS is Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. till noon. On Friday, we always have a Family Friday, which is from 4 to 6. And then there's a family service on the following Sunday. Unlike Beth, we use 4 Bible stories over the course of the week, 1 for each morning. Each day begins with celebration. Each day begins and ends with celebration time. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is an example of on Monday. So when we wrote it, it was earth, wind, fire, water. So each day had a different focus, and each day had a different Bible story. So you can see that on Monday, which was earth, the Bible story was the 10 Commandments. So for that day, the message was that God gave us commandments to live by. Families have commandments of their own to live by too, and it's better to give to others than to think only of ourselves. So you can see how what the big message was. After celebration, we break into a truly like a workshop rotation. The kids would go to a playhouse / storytelling, arts and crafts, and outdoor games. Each group would rotate through those, and then everyone would go to snack. We're on a smaller scale. So in 2019, we had 23 student campers and 18 volunteers. We always like to have a special guest or two. On Monday, our special guest was St. Francis. On Tuesday, St. Clair. We had John the Baptist on another day. The 23 children were grouped in 3 multi-age groups of 7. We have found, just for us, that multi-age grouping the kids works for us. We have certainly done it where we have first graders or first and second graders, third and fourth graders. But for us, we like having the older kids with the younger kids. Our age group is age 4 through rising 5th grade. Just from a purely demographic point of view, we have found that we do not need to offer nursery care for the younger siblings of our campers or our volunteer or the children of volunteers. It's just not a need that we need to fill. We do charge. We charge $40 per camper. But like Beth, if there is a financial need, the church would absolutely cover that. So this is where I think we get into the nitty gritty. You'll see the screen example for Monday, Earth. Tuesday was fire, and fire was the burning bush. Wednesday was wind, and we covered the Bible story of Pentecost, that the Holy Spirit fills us up. We can't see it, but we can feel it. Thursday was water, Jesus's baptism, and the message was that God's love for us and belonging to the greater church community. We like to, at some point over the course of the week, and it's usually Wednesday or Thursday, but sometime over the course of the week, we like to incorporate a small worship service that includes communion. We're blessed to have a pretty memorial garden, and so actually we've always been able to do this. The weather is always cooperated, and we're able to have a small worship communion service during camp. Here you'll see our how the children rotate through the different workshops. So for example, you can see that on Monday, the Earth group went to the Playhouse from 9:30 to 10, then arts and crafts and games, while wind and water were going to the different destinations. And we change it up each day just to give the kids a little bit of variety. You could certainly have them rotate through in the same order every day. Do whatever works for you. Like Beth, when we introduce the Bible story or do storytelling, we use different ways. We always include a godly play lesson in our celebration introduction. The kids always write a puppet show one of the days, and then present that puppet show on Friday night when the families come. Again, we always like to have a special guest. There's always a closing celebration that wraps up what they've learned for that morning. That's where we usually talk about the service project. we always sing and dance. Music, we'll talk about this a little later, but music is a really important component of any camp. So I think that's about it for me for right now.
Oh, yeah, music.
There's the music
sorry.
list. Do you, I'm not terribly musical, but we have really found that music is so important in our camps. The kids love it, the volunteers love it, everybody loves it. So I like to have an actual music director who will teach the kids, as well as an accompanist, whether that's be on the guitar or the piano. But it simplifies the music director's focus. He or she doesn't have to teach the kids at the same time as playing. So,
yeah, great.
I kind of jumped ahead. Sorry about that.
Nope, you're good. And these are some of the
art projects that that was clearly for Pentecost on Wednesday. I think we did Pentecost. Like Beth, once we've determined the theme, and that theme that we wrote was Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, we look at various sites. We heavily rely on and research rotation.org and look through the different rotations and the art projects. I'm not going to repeat everything that Beth said, but that's a big resource for us. We look at Pinterest. We look at at some of the other things that our churches in our particular diocese have used. There's a wealth of information on the web available for you, but art projects and music, we found, has been what we really need to adapt the most from when we used to purchase a curriculum.
Okay, any questions there before we keep going? All right, we'll keep going. Okay, so registration, there are different ways to do this. You can do it yourself with paper or Google Forms. There are free services available through Group and Concordia. You don't have to purchase their curriculum to be able to use their registration services. We talked about registration fees. We always have, if we're going anywhere, we have permission slips, we have health forms and special need forms for people. The supply board includes supplies for Sunday school in the fall, so I don't have to put up another supply board, and general children's ministry supplies that we might be needing. We do a trade-off, sticks for kids. When people come and pick up their kid after they have signed them out, they get a stick and they have to bring that stick to the shepherd, and the shepherd knows they're signed out. We always post the snack for the day. And for picking your VBS dates, I was asked the question, do you worry about the competition in town? And we don't. We pick the date that works for us and for our community. And then we just trust that God will send the kids that are supposed to be there. That's how we pick our dates. And we have them picked before the current VBS is over, so that on Friday, we can send that information home for families so they can get it on their calendar a year in advance. This is what my supply board looks like. I don't know about you, but I always like seeing what other people do. And I have whole strips of paper that people pull out of the little library envelope dealies that you can get, and I just stick it on a board. And I always put a picture of what I'm looking for, because pictures help. And so sometimes people can just donate money towards something I'm purchasing online, or they can get something locally. If I'm able to post a picture of what it is we're doing and why we need the supply, I will put that on the tags too. And I save my tags from year to year because sometimes they repeat, like the boxes of Kleenex. So I don't have to create them again. These are some of the supplies that I've been able to get with the with the supply money that would have normally been spent on little toys for kids to go home, we were able to get a whole bunch of people of God through different godly play material sites. And we use these in worship. We use them all through the year, and we're able to get books to build up our children's library too. I just wanted to show you those. These are some of the projects that we've done that aren't cheesy projects, and how we've collected the supplies for them, just putting a box out and putting the word out for them. This was a camp theme that we did this particular year. This is a year that we did the Daniel and the Lion's Den, and you can see the shirts that the kids made, and everybody has a different color, but they have the same lion logo. We made we do a children's musical, and so we had little Daniel suits that were made from sweatshirts. We made little pillows for comfort, and that's our musicians having fun there. And then one of the songs we did is by Lost and Found, called Lions, and there's a part in there that said Slinky, and so we spent money and got Slinkies for all the kids so that they could have fun doing Slinky during that song. So that's another type of supply. Decorating, it's very low budget and low key. We always have a focal point in our sanctuary, and then just put a variety of things around. We don't spend a lot of money on decorating. We use streamers a lot. The one on the right was for the Good Samaritan, I think, and the one on the left was the fiery furnace. And then you can kind of see a little bit of our volunteer sign up table identifying what we need volunteers for, and there's little sign up papers below that. Captain Bible is the person who helps us with our memory verses. They become a rock star when kids memorize their verse. They either get a sticker, they go and say it to Captain Bible, they get a sticker, or the picture on the right, she's writing a little fish on their hand with a marker. But Captain Bible is all over the place all day long. Even when we did Vacation Bible School online, we had Captain Bible, and it's just fun. And we have a chant, we do Captain Bible to call Captain Bible in, and kids love it. Our press pool is for grades 5 and 6, and it's kind of a status thing that kids get to be in it. And so they meet ahead of time before VBS and learn about the story, and then they get press passes, and they go around and cover VBS, and they get to decorate their area and the sanctuary where they sit. They decorate their press room, they bring their coffee mug to have root beer in, and they publish a newspaper and do a video. They'll do weather reports, they do interviews on people. Here's some kids out on assignment covering what was happening that day. We let them use an iPad or a phone or a digital camera. And then these are some of the publications they've done. They love when parents are coming in to pick up their kids, they're handing out their paper for that day, and it's just a recap of what's gone on, and a nice way to communicate with parents and families. And these are some of the service projects, just to give you some ideas of what you can do. And how it ties in with your community. The year that we were celebrating the 500th year of the Reformation as Lutheran Church, that was a big deal for us. And so we had the goal of making 500 personal care kits that year, and we made it. Those are the drums that we made the year that we were doing the beat for the Beatitudes, and our mosquito netting that we hung. And every time somebody donated to a net, they hung a mosquito up. We've taken kids off site to serve at the community kitchen or the food bank. And this one over here is wrapping bandages for, I forget who, and then visiting and helping support Habitat for Humanity is this bottom one. And this is one of my all-time favorites. We were doing Lydia, and of course the shirts were purple. They tie-dyed shirts that year, but the little kids collected stuffies, and we have a police station or center right across the street from us. So the little guys got to walk their stuffies over, and they became the little buddies that rode around in the police cars for kids that need help. And it was fabulous. And here's making quilts. Even the little kids could tie quilts. It was great. And putting school kits together, and they loved it. They kept wanting to go tie quilts some more. So don't underestimate what you can do. And then when we do our Wednesday night barbecue fellowship, we also offer the opportunity for children to teach their family how to do the service project and transfer that to the parents. And that's what's happening in this picture up here. Here's some of our worship components. The kids processing in at the beginning, they made these banners that they had to do with prayers. Each class put together a prayer banner. So the different ribbons have to do with prayer. And then we always do a blessing for what we've done that week. So this particular year was when we did the prodigal son, and we had piggy banks where kids collected money, and we were blessing those up on the altar. And these are our graffiti prayers. And I think they put school kits together. I don't know, but those are up there during worship. And volunteers, I have to take a picture of our volunteers every year because I'm just blown away. We always put them in blue shirts. That lets our community know they've been background checked. They are a safe person for kids and parents to talk to. And it's just like mind blowing how many volunteers end up showing up. But of all ages and for different reasons they show up. We like to utilize people's gifts and what they enjoy. This particular trio over here, they really like doing ministry together as a family. This gal loves cooking, and so she likes to help with snacks. When you're recruiting volunteers, make sure that you're doing a clear ask. What you are asking them to do is very clear. Show samples of what they're going to be doing if you can. We ask volunteers if they can help for 1 hour or 1 day or multiple days. We give people an out. We certainly don't twist any arms because people need to want to be there. You have to be willing to turn kids away if you don't have enough volunteers. Other churches I've known have hired camp counselors from Bible camps. Sometimes that will happen, but the thing to be aware of with that is that it's the camp counselors that are building the relationship with the kids, not your community building the relationship with the kids. I offer 2 volunteer trainings because not everybody can come, and another one that I record and put online. We always say that masks are welcome if people would like to wear masks. And oh yeah, I talked about my daughter recording. Like that's the other thing. Like we've had people record how to do an art project or record how to do the yoga thing or whatever. So there's different ways if they can't be on site. Another thing that we ask people to do is to bring in special snacks for our volunteers. And that's another way that people can help. Make sure people understand that shepherding is not teaching. Safety and security is another place. You know, those, does your church have like a group of people, like guys, older men who just like to get together and have coffee and donuts? The perfect job for them is safety and security. Like on the morning, every morning, they can just come and have their coffee and donuts at church and hang out and make sure everything's going well. I sell the workshops to people. I get very excited what we're doing. This picture here, this caught me off guard because we were like, oh, I don't remember what story it was, but we were making bird houses, and I learned that there's like a boatload of guys who all love to do woodworking. So they all got together and it started a small group ministry for them. So yeah. And then our Friday fun, like the fiery furnace, the kids, we built a fiery furnace outside, and we did a bike rally. because we utilize the resources that we have, which is a big parking lot. And that was really fun. Did bike blessing. We've done water days. And we are out of time. I can go through these. I got a few more slides if you want to see them about some of the prayer stations that we've done. But
Why
anyway,
don't you at least scan through them so they'll be on the recording?
okay, I will scan through them. Here we go. This prayer wall, you roll up your prayers. This was Jesus Calms the Storm. We did a community prayer wall. Kids built it, then we hung it, then they put prayers up on it. We made a storm. Band-aid prayers, like people who need help or healing. Graffiti prayers are one of my favorites. So you could do it on boxes or on the wall or on pillars. This one was God's Got Your Back for the fiery furnace, and they had to pull the shimmery, fiery streamers apart, and they wrote what their challenges were and concerns were, and then let it go and know that God has it. And then people who you want to know about God. This was making the shirts. We put our church logo nice and big on the back because kids love wearing these shirts because they made them themselves, and it's nice advertising. And that's it. There you go. Yay.
Thank you so much, both Debbie and Beth, for a wonderful presentation. I know we're running up on the end of our time, but we will be hanging around for more questions and answers afterwards. But I do want to honor the time of those of you who were here, and thank you for your support of our coffee chats. We have plenty more coming up, so just stay tuned to our website or our newsletter. And we will also, we're forming ministry teams. So if you want to help plan and execute coffee chats, I'm Amy Crane, the board president. You can just put a message or put your name in the chat box on the Zoom here, or you can send me an email, and I will be sending out a link to our video recording once we get it all tidied up. So it might be in a day or so, and it will be also posted at our website for our supporting members.